He has time.
He's
Off
got
the
him.
left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning, everyone. It's what day is it? Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Weird.
You know, us retired guys, we just can't keep our days straight anymore. Hey, it's our favorite time of year, Rob. It's deadline football. We're fans. No, we're not. But we hit a major deadline yesterday, guys. Something to talk about, and there's some other league news. So makes Ken and I's job easy to figure out what we're going to talk about right now. Wait till June, Ken. Wait till June. We're going to go, what the hell are we going to talk about? Hey, got a great cast of people with us today. Got a great panel. And the first thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is yesterday's big deadline. Look at how our tag deadline got changed. That's the updated. Everyone got tagged that we had on our list except for Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley because it was second tag. So no surprise there. Woody, I know you're upset because there are a couple names on that list we were looking at for Chicago to try to sign, like Josh Allen, Anton Winfield Jr.
Burns.
You know,
And not even just every guy on the list got tagged. We had to add some extra names that we didn't think were going to get tagged.
Yeah, like Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, I was going to say Duggar wasn't on that list.
No.
Oh, neither was Winfield or Matabuke.
Matabuke, yeah, he's new too. I didn't get that
there
part.
was a lot of talk that they were going to be testing the market this year.
Well,
so anyone surprised? Any one that goes? Oh, actually, let me go to Woody first. Woody, JJ, you called it. You get Mike gives you the 70% correct button.
Fuck on that goddamn button.
So, JJ getting tagged. What do you think that means for Chicago?
It's means he's going to be tagged, and it's going to be, I say, maybe mid-season, beginning of season. He's going to get a contract. He's not going to get one in a week. And yes, Woody's right again.
that's the most important part.
Absolutely. It's he had, like I said, he's one of the best corners in the league, except for his drops, pick sixes that we could have had the first win against Detroit. Yeah. But I knew that he was going to get tagged. I just had that feeling because what's 18, 19 million a year. That's what
the tag is worth, like 18.5. His Spotrac value is at like 15.5.
Right.
So he's getting paid over his market value right now.
So that's telling me they're going to do a contract.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to give him a contract. Just depends when.
Yeah, I kind of like, it's funny with Jalen Johnson. I had to think about this more yesterday after talking with a few folks in backroom chats about it. I'm kind of coming around to agreeing with what you're saying, Woody. I think there's something, we forget at the trade deadline, Paul said, well, go find you a trade partner, and he couldn't find a trade partner because no one wants to pay him what he wanted to get paid. They're obviously part of that trade discussion, knowing he's a contract year, was, well, if we trade for you, what are we going to have to pay you next year? And people balked at that, right? They said, no, that's okay, Jalen. Stay in Chicago. We're not going to give up the capital for that and then have to pay you. He's being paid over market, and you're right. He dropped some big balls. I think that gives him an opportunity to prove to Foles that he's worth getting paid over his market value. That he's worth getting paid top 3 money. I think though part of it is I think it's the guarantee. And if we look at contracts, guys, I mean, how many contracts have we seen where, well, we're close, but the holdup is it's an $80 million contract, but they want $55 million of it guaranteed, and the team's like, no, we'll give you 25 or 30. It seems like the guarantee is become the sticking point more than the term of service and the total dollar amount. It's usually this guarantee, and I can understand why teams don't want to give the guarantee. I.e., look at Russ. Look at Danny Dimes.
That was a bad contract all around, the Russ one.
Yeah.
You know what's
Did
funny?
that
Russ,
contract,
for the most dead cap, I saw this yesterday. I wish I would have saved it. The top 5 dead cap hits in NFL history. Russ is number 1 and number 5.
Wow.
So I mean,
that goes to tell you something. I would not be surprised if Russ ends up being out of the freaking league, either maybe this year, or if he gets one more chance, possibly. I could see it being next year if he shows the same shit. Because I think everybody's getting tired of this dual locker room that has to happen with him, where it's Russ and then the other guys.
Well, I think Russ will get a contract, obviously, because you can sign him for basically the league minimum for the next 2 years, because all the money he's owed Denver. But we can talk about Russ in a minute, and his ability to seek trade partners has been granted by Denver, which is funny. But I mean, I think though with Jalen, going back to Jalen Johnson and his contract, it's most of these guys, or just in general, these contracts, guaranteed money is seems to be the issue. And I get where the player is, right? Because look, in baseball, if you sign a contract, it's fully guaranteed. In basketball, you sign a contract, it's guaranteed. Soccer, you sign a contract, it's guaranteed.
Yeah, but they didn't put the tag on him for the contract. They put the tag on him so no one else would take him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's about. That's not about they'll come up with a number. I don't think they're negotiating yet. I think they just don't want him to get away.
But here's the thing though. If we tag Jalen Johnson, yeah, give the Bears 2 number 1 picks. I'll fucking take it. See ya.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. That's why they did that. So you guys would get paid if someone did take him, or he wouldn't just be out there so someone would poach him from you guys, because that was what they were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Rob, they've been discussing. I mean, Poles said as much that last week that they've been talking and they've made.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying. I don't think it's so much tied up on the guaranteed money as why they tagged him. I think it was more they just didn't want to lose him, because they had a deadline, and I mean, like you said, he's in the middle of what you owe him and what he's worth. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you just got to figure out that the final. But I wouldn't want to lose him either. He's a good player for you guys.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Rob. I think obviously we tagged him because they didn't get a deal done, and Poles wanted to get a deal done. Yes. I think you have 2 things. I think one part of it is what I was saying. Guaranteed money is probably an issue. I think the other part, and this is where I come into more of what you said and agree with you, that maybe, like the market says he's worth 15. He may think he's worth 25. Poles is willing to offer 20, which is still well over market and more than the tag. Right. And this is a way where he can say, okay, I'm going to throw a tag on you, but it's the non-exclusive, which means you can talk to other teams. And that just means what? We get first right of refusal on an offer sheet. So if you can get Carolina, for example, to offer you 25, we may let you walk and take the 2 first-round picks. Right? So, I mean, but at the same time, though, that kind of does what he did with Jalen during the trade deadline. Okay, Jalen, you think you can get 25? Let's see you do it. And when Jalen can't, and the best offer he gets is 18, 19, or less because no one wants to give up 2 first-rounders, then he comes back and says, all right, I see what you're saying. 20, I'm still above market value, and I'll come and let's find a good guarantee, let's just guarantee 30 of it. I'll cover basically my first year and a half. So that gives, because guys don't want to guarantee 3 years of a contract. They'll guarantee 1. They'll guarantee a full year. The first year they'll guarantee in full usually, right? If you're signing a guy to a 5-year deal, you'll get, let's say it's an average of 18 mil a year. You'll probably guarantee the first 2 years. You have enough confidence that you can probably guarantee 28 mil of it the first 2 years, right? But where they get anything past that 2-year mark, they get kind of iffy on the money. I mean, look at Russ. They guaranteed Russ 4 years worth of money, after 2 years they're cutting him, and now they got to pay him for 2 more years, and he's gonna get the Jim Edmonds effect. Do you know what I mean by the Jim Edmonds effect? Is interesting in sports. So Jim Edmonds played for the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals signed a big contract. They then traded him to San Diego, who then signed him to another big contract. They then cut him. The Cubs signed him for the league minimum because he was getting a paycheck from St. Louis and San Diego while playing in Chicago. That's basically what Russ is doing right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand why teams are gun shy about the guarantee. And look, Cleveland fucked it up for everyone. Cleveland goes out and says, hey, Deshaun Watson, we'll give you a 100% guaranteed contract. And they screwed it up for everyone. Like, the owners are probably taking that guy out back and pistol whipping. This is what you're hearing. Hey, oh, you're the Browns owner? Hold on, so we got something for you. Every team. They're getting dumb. That's what I would be doing. And then I go a step further. Hey, come here. Go stand on that wall, Cleveland. You know what I mean? I mean, the guaranteed money is stupid.
It's a lot of money.
I wouldn't even say that's even the strongest example, because at least Deshaun Watson, if he could stay healthy, is a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones and the Giants, they should be taking that Jim Mara, however the hell you pronounce his name, and they should be beating that sumbitch with a sack of oranges.
I'm not so sure that Deshaun Watson is still an average or a good quarterback.
Yeah,
dude.
I wouldn't. He hadn't been shit for a few years.
I was going to say he
guaranteed.
Yeah, his contract's fully.
Yeah.
I love Dorn.
Jesus,
what would John Dorn do? John Dorn says Jalen Johnson's not worth $18 million. He's not even a top 5 corner.
Okay, when you guys get rid of Alexander, I don't hear you fucking crying either, bitch.
Oh, Alexander's going to stay a Packer for a few more years.
He's not going to go. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but anyway, it's crazy to me though. Like, I don't like the whole. I think the franchise tag system is bullshit. I think it allows teams to strong arm guys.
Yeah,
and,
that's what it does.
That's basically what it does. That's what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
Well, the teams had like some kind of leverage when they brought out free agency.
Yeah, I think the other side, the less sinister side of that, Joe, and I like how you go to the sinister side of it. They did it to screw the player.
Fucking Raider fan.
Screw the man. We're going to screw the player. But I think it was meant more to help teams in smaller markets who don't have the revenue to retain their best players and get compensation so that your big money teams or big market teams just they can't steal everyone. So it gives, and also in some cases, like look at I think Jalen Johnson, this might be a perfect case of why you have a tag, because the guy thinks he's worth so much more than he is. It gives the team more time to negotiate. It gives him more time. It extends that league year for them to a point. The player can still hold out. We've seen Le'Veon Bell do it. We've seen other guys do it, but I think it gives them more time, and it also protects smaller market teams. And let's be honest, most of these guys, and a lot of them end up signing a long-term deal or playing under a cap, and the cap is generated, like in Jalen Johnson's case, the cap money is worth more than his actual value, according to at least Spotrac, and they're pretty accurate, right? Spotrac says he's worth 15. He's going to get paid 18 plus on the tag, so he's actually getting a very hefty pay raise for the tag. So I don't think the tag's hurting Jalen Johnson at all.
How many GMs go by that Spotrac, I wonder?
I like the advantage that it gives to the team too, because A, you either get the player, or B, you get those 2 number 1 picks.
Yeah, you get those picks.
So it's just a way. All this was is a way to for ownership to save a guy, so no one else could poach him. That's all this is. It's only one tag. It's only one guy. I mean, this is so if you got that guy that would just being difficult, this is so you can give yourself a little more time. I agree with Joe. It's a cheap ass fucking way to strong arm a player.
Yep.
Well, shit, just think, you got these teams that are vying for a championship, and they got one of these star players on there that happened to have his contract come due, are you going to want to sit there and play the insane amount that he's going to want?
Who on this list fits that bill? Snead?
Yeah, he did
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Well, Winfield, you can say Winfield Jr. too.
Yep, him, Matabuke.
And I, Pittman, that guy is sneaky quiet, man. He's a high production guy that you don't hear a lot of noise out of it, but he's what keeps Indianapolis relevant.
Hey,
that guy.
And I mean,
Sorry,
T.
guys, I
Higgins,
was
as
inside
long as
saying
Joe,
something.
as long
But I
as Joe
wanted to throw
Burrow comes
something
back
out there.
healthy, T. Higgins fits that category real easily too.
And Snead got tagged. There's a lot of teams going after him.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was hoping we would go, but the Kansas City shut that shit down early. They're like, no.
Absolutely. The Sheagles were looking at him.
Yeah,
and,
bro, he showed out in the playoffs. That's why he got a lot of TV time, man. He was making plays left and right. He's the reason they got that title. Part of the reason.
Hey, so I wanted to push back on what Ken was talking about the franchise tag. Like, I understand that, like, when the franchise tag was started, it was with the intention of helping smaller market teams to not lose their franchise guys. But the NFL is a profit-sharing organization where they divide all of the profit from the TV contracts, from merchandising, from ticket sales. Everything gets equally divided 32 ways. And they also have the same salary cap. So, like, there's no real reason to have the franchise tag anymore other than to strong arm players into playing for a team that won't pay them what they're worth or what they think they're worth.
I mean,
like,
I can agree with that to a degree, but look at Carolina, right? A team going nowhere. He's their best player. Burns is probably their best player. If they don't tag him, dude, he's going to jump ship to a team like Chicago.
And why shouldn't he? Like,
well,
why
should we protects the tag protects Carolina in this instance because they would lose Brian Burns.
What I'm saying is, why should we protect Carolina? And why should the team be protected and players who are top quality players, like some of the best players in the league, should be forced to languish their careers on a franchise that's going nowhere when they could go somewhere else and have a chance to win a championship?
I don't disagree with you, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, okay? I don't disagree with you, but I think if you do that because now you protect parity in the league. And parity is, look at the parity of this league over the last 10, 15 years has gotten really good. There's a lot more parity, but there is more. You have to admit there is more parity in the league now. And I think
but why should someone be forced to play for someone else?
Hold on, Rob.
Hey, let him finish his point though, because that's actually a very valid point about parity in the league. Like, it has gotten better.
It protects parity in the league, which protects the NFL in whole, and now it allows Carolina to keep one of their key building blocks to become a better football team. Now, look, the guy's still going to get paid. I mean, look at they also designed this tag where they're making, the average of the top 3 contracts of their position. So you go to Jalen Johnson, he's going to get overpaid what his market value is. Some guys will get underpaid. I get that. But it keeps the competition if these guys can keep them. And then a lot of these guys end up signing a long-term deal more times than not. Very, very.
I agree.
If you took the percentage of guys who don't sign a long-term deal, it's very small compared to the ones who do. So, I mean, the tag works for what the league's design was, to give teams more time for their star players to retain them and to keep parity in the league.
But is it really forcing a player to stay there if they come out and say, I want to stay with the team? Jalen Johnson said he wants to be a Bear. He wants to stay on the team.
That's good. That's good for you guys. That means you just got to find a middle ground, man. I mean, that's half the battle. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why you force a player to play for someone else. Sorry, guys, I forgot this was off. Play for a team when he doesn't want to play there. Now, if it's just the money and you're trying to work it out, I understand that. But if the guy doesn't even want to be on your team, why would you want to waste your tag on him?
Right.
Okay, let
See,
me ask
that's
a
I was
question
talking
then.
about the franchise tag in general.
Let's look at this list. Are any of these guys that we know of saying, I want out of this city that I'm
Saquon
currently in?
Barkley. I think
Yeah.
Barkley wants out.
Not tagged.
Well, yeah,
not
he's not
tagged.
tagged.
Yeah, I
No, he's
understand.
not
I understand
tagged.
that.
He's free to
And I think
go.
that's part of the reason. I don't believe the second tag has anything to do with it because you take him out of the equation. Who the fuck else they got?
So the second
Yeah.
tag though is the part because the tag. Okay, you apply it the first year, you're paying top 3. You apply it the second year, top 3 plus 25%. So the money is a
Boring.
lot bigger than his market value. Same for Josh Jacobs. Like both their market values are around that $10 million mark. The tag would cost like 15. 13
Another
or
good
something
reason
like
to
that.
tag. Another good reason to tag is that you can get a trade value worth more than if you just
Right.
try to look for something else. Like if you're looking for a quality player, right, in the NFL, a lot of teams are willing to pay that price. So you tag and then trade. That's what they're trying to do with Snead. And Chiefs will probably get a haul, even though they have no intention to pay him beyond. They already franchise tagged him and paid him to play for the season. So teams will be looking more for adding more incentives to getting Snead because they will put more draft stock into it.
Well, the Giant
because
has already
depends on
said
what-
they're not franchise tagging Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley's
Right.
already is a free agent.
Yeah.
He's already and then a lot of rumors are he's going to the Texans with Stroud.
And the thing is too,
Good
like
spot
it
for him.
depends on
Holy
what
shit.
it depends on what kind of franchise tag they put, right? You've got the exclusive
No.
and non-exclusive. Jalen
No.
Johnson has a non-exclusive. So look at if you're Green Bay and you want to steal them, and Green Bay's not 'cause they don't have the money, and they probably want to put their money, and what money they do have, they want to put elsewhere, just for sake of argument. Let's say
This is not
Green
going.
Bay's like, we're going to steal Jalen Johnson.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Because
You're giving us 2
why-
first-round draft picks to steal them.
Why is it
So that-
fair for Lisi to go and not the other kids?
So that protects a team as
I
well,
take care of the kids anyway.
right? That protects
Somebody
a
mute
team as well.
Joe. I can't hear
Yeah,
you. Mute Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
All right.
That protects a team as well. Like KC, if you want to steal Snead, you're going to pay them. So
Yeah.
now at least the team gets something back, an ROI, return on investment, right? So like so I mean the tag does work. I mean I get the sentiment that it's barbaric on players to a degree because it's coercing them into staying with the team. And like for Saquon last year, could that have been said that'd be true? Or Josh Jacobs? Maybe, but I think also that's a different case in a sense too, because we also saw a shift in the running back market financially that
And-
both of them were resistant to.
And why is that, Ken? Think about this. The franchise tag is particularly unfair to running backs because running backs have such a short shelf life to begin with. So they start off on a 5-year rookie contract, right? Or a 4-year rookie contract.
right.
Then they get tagged for 2 years. And then by the
Right.
time they're actually able to leave the franchise that drafted them, nobody
They're
wants
out.
them.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
though,
they
I
beat
think
up.
with Saquon and Josh though, I think the difference was that the market changed. Before last year, running backs were getting that big second contract. NFL teams aren't giving those contracts anymore, and those guys were still that mindset. I feel you can't blame them when they came in the league. Second contracts were 3 years, $78 million. Now it's 3 years, $30 million. And they're caught in that crossfire. And unfortunately for both of them, and it doesn't make it right, but they got caught in the reset. They got caught in the reset point blank. I mean, you don't tag. They don't really tag guys a second time because the price is very steep. But last year, both guys got paid what the market should have paid them.
Yeah,
it was the way of the. I mean, I don't disagree with you, but it did its job.
Like the thing is, running backs, that market really went down. But a market like Snead, like cornerbacks, D-backs, O-line, anytime those become available within a franchise tag, you want to go after those positions because that'll solidify your team. That especially a team that's coming off of playoffs, like for example, a Texans, that just kind of first got in there. You want to kind of bolster up your team, and you look for these franchise tag trades, especially with the cap room that they have. Texans is a really good example of that they can put stock into it and they can pay the guy an extension right away. That's exactly what Saquon is looking for. Like whoever tries to sign Saquon, he's definitely looking for that max extension he can get. So that's
Hey, oh, go ahead, Isaac.
I
Sorry.
was say that's the premier players. You know what I mean? Like because running backs, like you're right about that, Joe. Like running backs in these day and age are not getting paid what they're supposed to get paid, but those top ones are gonna get paid what they're gonna get paid. But other position players, they're definitely a commodity. So a lot of teams will go after them. So Snead will have a lot of suitors. Like Detroit can come into
and
play.
that's what I'm saying is I think the franchise tag is unfair, specifically to running backs. I think that they should shorten NFL rookie contracts for running backs. I think that their running back contract should only be 3 years. Like if you're going to lower the market on them like that, and then they should get a chance to get a second contract as well. Also, if I'm Josh Jacobs, I'm learning to run routes and I'm trying out at receiver next year, dude.
Right.
Hey, that's
Bro,
a good point, though.
Pay me
Up
19
your game,
million,
up your game.
like,
Don't gotta be good. It can be short routes.
pay me 19 million, bro. Like fuck that running back shit for 6 million,
Hey,
dude.
you see how that worked out for Le'Veon Bell and trying to straw an arm getting paid like a receiver too.
Yup.
He got his ass shipped
That's a good
Hey,
point,
Steven,
though, Joe
I see
brings up.
real quick, Steven, I see your comments. I'm going to try to get to them in a minute because Steven bring up another topic in the chat, but I want to. We probably should keep going with this franchise tag. I'm sorry, Isaac. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that was a good point by Joe. You know what I mean? Running backs should get a shorter contract because of the market. Like if you're not one of the top 10 running backs in the league, you're not going to get paid as such. So
You're never going to get a second contract.
yeah, you're not going to get a second contract and end up in a fucking team that you don't want to go to, right? You don't get to pick and choose anymore which team you want to go to because it's all about what a team wants from you. And if they can draft someone to replace you, and especially a lot of these teams in cap hell, they're not going for you, right? You're looking for a payday, and they're not willing to give it to you. So
it's going to be interesting, though, to see what this is looking like in, say, 5 years. Because we all know the league is cyclic, right? It goes in circles. And right now, the running back is devalued. Will the running back maybe make a comeback contractual-wise?
Eventually.
You know, I mean, so is this cyclic? Are we going to see where the wide receivers all of a sudden aren't getting paid? Because look at how many wide receivers are coming out in the draft this year, right? The wide receiver market is going to be flush. So you're not going to have to spend as much money to get a top-end wide receiver anymore. So the contract JJ might be getting in Minnesota might be the cap, the top. And from here forward, because all these great receivers are coming into the league, that top money is going to start dropping. And as running back become less scarce eventually, then the running back market will go back up.
What they need to do is lower the quarterback market. That's what needs to come down. It's insane to lower paid quarterbacks, man. Holy Christ!
Quarterback market ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But if you look at over the last 20 years, every position has gone up except running back. Running back is the only one that's actually been devalued. Like tight end pay has gone up, wide receiver pay has gone up, quarterback money has drastically gone up. Right?
You got the slap for a reason, Joe.
Why is that?
The tight end market was devalued last year as well. Not just the running back. The tight end market got devalued as well.
Well, look what Schultz got. Look what the Texans gave Schultz.
A couple years now.
And then also
the tight end market is not devalued. Like the tight end market, there are still tight ends making 10, 12 million a year, dude.
And there's still running backs making that. The difference with the running back is after basically Zeke and that massive contract and Pollard, dude, those guys were making 20 plus at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're back down to 10, 12-ish. Yeah, I agree. The market went down, but that was just because part of that's because there's so much talent. Second, there's so much talent coming in the draft. Teams got wise. So look, why am I paying Zeke $20-some million a year when I can get Pollard in the draft, whose production equals or surpasses him, and costs me 20% of what I'm paying this one guy? And that's because there's so much talent at the position too. It's not that the owners said we're going to get together and we're going to bring down running back money. No, there's a lot of running back talent.
No, I'm not saying that it was like some grand conspiracy. What I'm saying is owners finally caught on to the fact that you can duplicate the production for much cheaper by just going and getting one in the draft, right? So it's an unfortunate thing for running backs. But if you look at the NFL market as a whole, if you look at every position, all positions have gone up over the course of the last 20 years, except the running back position is the only one that's been devalued to this point. Like nobody's saying, hey, we're not going to pay a tight end $12 million because we could just go get another tight end. Like nobody's saying.
Here's another thing Steven's talking about Eckler. Eckler a couple years ago would have commanded a lot more money than he command this year in free agency because there's so much talent at the running back position.
Well, I think, hey, look, they rank players out. When you rank your top 100 players, they're ranked in order of, position has nothing to do with it. It's about their skill. So why can't a market be set? Why can't they be paid what they're worth? Some running backs are worth a lot more than tight ends or wide receivers.
Right.
I mean, it should be worth what you are as far as your production and what you bring to your team.
Like what Ken is talking about is free agency. Right, Ken, you're talking about free agency. You're saying like Eckler on the open market 2-3 years ago would have got a lot more than he's going to get this year because there's so much talent available on the free agent market, right? But I'm not talking about the free agent market. I'm talking about the market period going forward. I don't see the running back market rebounding because teams have realized that they can go and get a guy in the draft and replace the production that much easier. I don't think you're going to see running backs getting second contracts like that anymore. Teams are they're going to get a running back. They're going to run 5 years out of them, and then they're going to get rid of them.
You're not wrong right now, but it's cyclic. This happened before in the NFL. It's cyclic, and there'll come a point like, okay, CMC, first off, he's the running back right now that breaks the mold. If he hit the open market, people are loading up Brinks trucks. They're robbing banks. They're going to the Federal Reserve saying, "Give me money." I got to pay this guy.
Jewelry.
Yeah, exactly. There's still going to be those guys, but there's so much talent at the running back position today. And look at the wide receiver position. I think we're poised to see that one happen the same way because there's so much talent coming out the wide receiver position that now you're not going to have to pay those guys as much because there's much more competition. It's like the housing market. There's huge inventory. When there's not huge inventory, you pay more for a house when you go to buy one. If there's a lot of houses on the market, you pay less. Running backs are the same thing. There are a lot of really good running backs in the open market in the marketplace right now. Look how many come out of the draft every year that are making rosters and being productive. Now that number will shift. Eventually, we'll get to a point where the running back market coming into the draft and free agency is getting thin, and they're going to become more of a premium again. But right now, you're flush with great running back options in the draft. So if I'm a GM, why am I giving Saquon or Josh Jacobs $15 million when I can get the same production for under $1 million?
But if I'm a running back in college, if I'm a running back in college, I'm going to my coach in the offseason and I'm saying, "Hey, coach, I'm trying out at receiver this year."
And some probably do.
Yeah, there's two components to this as well. Number one, let me make both points real quick. Number one is we saw how the quarterback market just flourished, and we know this has been a passing offense for like over a decade now in the NFL. Like running backs aren't the premium spot to do your damage with. It's mostly been with quarterbacks the past decade. That's why MVPs are nothing but quarterbacks most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the thing is, last year, I keep saying last year, but this past season, these teams, half of them, their starting quarterbacks, succumb to injury, and their backup quarterbacks coming in, that raises the quarterback market up. So that's why Russ is in an ideal situation this season because he can find some team willing to pay him for his services over other teams because they need that stopgap quarterback. That raised the market there. That really devalues running backs because you're more valuing now the quarterback position to help out your team than a running back would. That's why only these teams that, have a premium running back are the ones that are going to get paid. And then like the second thing I was going to talk about, just the way offenses are going nowadays days, it's nothing but the quarterback position, wide receiver, tight end room, and the running backs are just give you that, emphasis and push, teams. And then Another thing, a reason why Joe's point makes a lot of sense about drafting a running back, because you see what teams are doing. Rams started it by putting the super team together, right? And they're using all their assets to put a big old solid team around each other. That costs a lot of money, and that puts your team through cap hell. A lot of teams are going to do the same thing because they want to catch up, right? Niners are doing it. Now you see the Niners in the cap little situation. You see all these teams that just put all their money and their assets into a team, and then at the end of the day, they can't pay these running backs premier money because they're in cap hell, competing with other teams to make their team as well-rounded as the team that's spending a lot of money and going for the Super Bowl.
And before we go to Joe, let me add a third part to Isaac, and then Joe, you can answer. A third thing is that Isaac didn't pick up on is teams are going to running back by committee. Most teams are going to a two-back system. Top that in with not only are they doing a two-back system, but there's more designed running plays for quarterbacks now. More quarterbacks are being more mobile. So the emphasis on a singular stud running back is become less and less. So they've diversified even the running game down to where we're going to do a two-back system, and we're going to utilize the quarterback more. Oh, and we're going to utilize wide receivers on jet sweeps and stuff like that more than we have in the past. So that further devalues the running back. All right, go ahead.
I would say that there's still the majority of first backs, like number one running backs in the NFL, are still getting 30 carries a game over the course of a season. So, like their usage may have gone down a little bit. They might have gone down from 35 carries to 30 carries, but the majority of them are getting 25, 30 carries a game. Number two, I would use as an example Todd Gurley, right? Like when Todd Gurley went to the Rams, he balled out and then he got a big contract, right? And then what happened? He got injured, and then they ended up cutting him. And then Todd Gurley was like never heard from again. Like he went somewhere else, but he didn't do anything. And he was gone. Yeah, and then he was gone, right? Like now that's a Todd Gurley. That's like a guy who actually got a second contract. So what about these guys that come into the league and they play 4 or 5 years and they're getting hurt, and they're making $250,000, $400,000 a year. Over the course of that contract, they made $2 million, right? Now you take taxes off of that, they made $1 million. Now they got to pay their agent. Now they got to pay all the other things that they got to pay. They buy a house, right? Like not even a nice house, like just a regular house, you know? Now, like they're forced to retire because of injuries. They're permanently disabled. Like they can't go get like a regular job because their knees are shot or they're whatever, and they have like $100,000 to last them the rest of their lives. That's why I was thinking that it would be better. Like I think that NFL running back contracts should be even rookie contracts should be incentive laden. So if you're going to get the max production out of a guy in his first 4 to 5 years, then they should have incentives where it's like, okay, if I rush for 1,000 yards as a rookie, I get a $2 million bonus. If I rush for 1,500 yards, I get a $3 million bonus or a $2 million bonus. Like let them make their incentives over the course of that first contract so that if they do end up getting injured in year 4 and they're done, they're not completely destitute when they're done. Like, you know,
the only running backs they're guaranteed they're going to make life-changing money are your Bijan Robinsons, your Jahmyr Gibbs, the guys who go in the first round, right? Because those contracts are worth millions of dollars from the jump. So I get what you're saying. But then, you look at a guy like Monty. Monty played his rookie contract 4 years out in Chicago, went to Detroit, and now he's making $5-6 million a year and getting paid. I think you'll see more of that.
But what is the average shelf life of a running back, Ken? Like, what is the average career of a running back?
But that's the thing, though. I think that's changing, though, too, because now with two-back systems, guys are lasting longer. I think guys are lasting a little bit longer on their two-back systems. I agree with you. It's a short, and they're getting screwed overall. Of any of the positions, they're probably one of the most screwed over positions money-wise for as long as their careers are, or as short as they are. I don't disagree with that at all.
There's an age cap, too. Like, you don't really want to pay a running back that gets gets closer to his 30s, right? Like, if a running back is getting to his 30s, then he's basically expendable because, there's some that break the mold. Like, for instance, Aaron Jones. We kept Aaron Jones for as long as he did because he's versatile. He just doesn't run the ball, and he provides a wide receiver weapon for us. And he's, Micah Parsons even said himself, Aaron Jones is a sneaky blocker because that's who we sent to block Micah Parsons most of that Cowboys game to open up lanes. But those running backs come a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Like any running back that gets towards his 30s, you're not going to go for. You're going to draft and replace that because you're not going to waste your money on an asset that could, go on the injury list or, start to wear down. So
Isaac, you just stumbled into a subject that I totally almost forgot to talk about this morning. Micah Parsons, right, got tagged yesterday. Did you see how Dallas tagged him?
No, what happened?
Didn't they tag him at a different position?
As a defensive tackle, it saved him $3 million over calling him a linebacker. See, that's a point where I think the tag is misused, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Totally.
getting off the running back.
Totally. That's
I'm not a defensive tackle. At the end of the day.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy about Micah Parsons is you can use him in so many different positions. Like if you watch him play, sometimes he's the linebacker, sometimes he's back there. I've seen him even play corner.
Okay, so then give him all the money from all the position he plays. Then fuck that. How do you just pick the lowest one and say that's it? That's fucking bullshit.
Again, see that's how the franchise tag is being used to strong arm guys, dude.
Yes, totally.
If anything, you should be working his salary out based on a defensive end, not a linebacker. Like,
I mean, what does that guy really work to that team? He played all those positions.
Because the top 5 defensive ends make a lot more money. So
I got a good question.
Hold
How would
on
you
a sec,
pay?
guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the average career for an NFL running back is 2.5 years. It's the shortest of any position.
That's where they're getting that salary. That's where they're basing it off of. 2.5 years shelf life. Holy fuck!
Yeah, so imagine that though. Imagine you're a dude who goes in the 4th round for $250,000 a year, and your career is 2.5 years. You made $500,000. Now you got to pay taxes on that. You got to pay your agent. Like, that's what I'm saying. You leave the league destitute. Like,
you know what? Hold on a second, Joe. You know what though? You know what I'm going to say to that? Who freaking who? You're getting to play a kids game and make money. No, I mean, to a certain degree, compared to every other working Joe in the world that graduates college and is happy to make $35K a year, you're going to
watch how that waters down the game
or whatever. I mean, it's more. They make more than $250. Ken, what's the league minimum right now? It's probably about 400, right? 400 or 500. These guys. I mean, I get it. You pay the agent, you pay taxes. Okay, boo freaking who?
Hey,
because if you graduate college with your degree in underwater basket weaving, you're making 35, 40K a year, and that's it. Now, look, if you get serious injuries, and that's why your time is cut short, you have protections under the NFLPA as well. So it's not like they're just thrown out to the streets and saying, we're done with you. They've got a system in place through the NFLPA and the NFL where if they have injury, they are going to be taken care of to a degree. But boo-hoo, you got paid whatever the league minimum is, $500,000 a year.
Okay, then why should they put a stat out there like that then to water out? That's bullshit.
What's the league minimum, Ken?
The league minimum for a rookie is $750,000, and with 1 year of experience, it's $870,000.
Yeah, so they made $1.5 million.
Hold on. But that number is not accurate. Look at a 5th round draft pick. Look at the draft scale this year, and look at what a 5th round pick is going to make this year.
All right, Ken's going to look it up, but still, no pity. Bullshit.
Boo-hoo. That's crazy.
You made at least
That's crazy, man. Because that's you're putting them at a disadvantage right off the bat by saying they only got a 2.5 year shelf life. Everybody's being graded off of that. There's nothing else. That's crap, bro. That's fucking crap.
That's why Joe's point makes sense.
Hey, Woody, I know you feel sorry for some guy who only gets to do 2 years at a job, making a $500,000 minimum to basically play football for 2 years. I know you're heartbroken.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, they have the average shelf life of a running back, but like Monty, right? You know how hard he ran in Chicago and what he did in Detroit. Now he's what going on his what? How many years? 6.
This is his 6th year now.
So
this is year 6. He's going.
This average is going up, but what Ken said, it makes a lot of sense. These 2 running back systems are helping these shelf lives go even higher. But you got teams like the Chargers with Eckler and stuff like that. The only guy there, his shelf life might be going down because he's the only running back in that system. So
and the shelf life is also part, not because of injury. It might. Oh, go ahead, Ken. You've got a number.
Yeah, the 5th round draft picks contracts are for $4.2 million with a signing bonus of $384,000, split over 4 years.
Joe, this is for you. Get out of here with that. Feel sorry for the guy.
They needed to do better negotiation in the NFLPA. What's it called? Committee. The next, what's it called? Meeting.
$4 million.
I'm just saying,
they need to fleece the guy who comes up with these stats.
It'll even back out eventually.
I understand. Hey, I understand.
Inflate those numbers, bro.
I understand what Joe's saying about the, all these
insane.
bills and houses and stuff. But you got to think all these players that come in the NFL are buying houses for their parents too. So you got to add up on that as well.
Right, but I'm talking about a guy who made $2 million, like that $4.2 million. You have to cut that in half off the top because of taxes, dude. Then you got your agent who makes 10% of that, so that's another $420,000, right?
3%.
So
they just take 3.
Okay, so 3%. Then it's still like he made less than $2 million, probably about $2 million over 4 years. Okay,
I feel no.
Anyway, my point was, I just think that it would be if they gave some sort of incentive program with running backs, since you're going to get the most production out of them in their first 5 years anyway. Like, I think, even if let's say you don't go as high with the incentives as I said, like, let's say if you go for 1,500 yards, you get an extra $1 million. It still makes a difference over the course of a 5 year.
Well, what did like this is a quarterback though, Rob or Ken? What did Love get for winning that playoff game or getting into the playoffs? What was his like? 250,000, correct?
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think it was. I thought it was 500.
No, he reached two. He won he got to the playoffs and then he won a game. So it just it was incentive based. It was incentive based on how far he got. So
we're saying these running backs better get some rich girlfriends like Taylor Swift.
But like Joe said earlier, the best thing for a running back is to get all incentive based contract. I mean, look, if I hit 300 carries, man, I want a bonus. If I hit 20 touchdowns for you, I want a fucking bonus. If we make the playoffs and I do so many yards I want a bonus. And that's just how it should be.
This could be something that the NFL Players Association uses as the bargaining chip for the NFL pushing for this 18th game, of saying, you really want our guys to go out for an 18th game? Okay, you're going to have to make every contract now incentive laden.
Well, no, the contracts, if they go to an 18th game, the contracts automatically grow. Like when they went to 17, the contracts grew, the incentives. But let me go to Dom. Dom, I know you work hard when you get called, especially because you've been getting called into work lately. I know you feel really sorry for a 5th round running back who only gets to play the league for 2 years and pocket $3 million in the process.
Oh.
I know you feel bad for that guy.
Man, they're making millions, as you said, to play a kid's game. They should have did better negotiating in the NFLPA when they had their new, I don't know what it's called. Like, when they went in to talk about the salaries they make and everything. You see the NBA and the MLB, they make a lot of money. They're guaranteed the contracts and all that. So why hasn't the NFL pursued that, the players? You're making all these rules to protect the QB and everything. Right. The highest paid player, but, the running backs got devalued and everything. Who said it? The tight end supposedly got devalued, but it hasn't. I don't know. They just need to do better negotiation because it's not. I guess it ain't their fault. They get finessed by the owners. Look, Jerry Jones, where his team $3.something billion, and he's paying petty cash to everybody.
Right, $9 billion. $9 billion.
$9 billion. Get the fuck out of here. They just not doing good negotiations. They're getting finessed.
Ken, I'm sorry. What was the number on the 5th round draft pick again?
It was, I think, 4.2. Yeah, 4.224.
And you cut
that 4-year contract. That's our 4-year contract.
And you cut that in half, like Joe said. Oh Jesus, I couldn't play for $2 million. No fucking way.
Well,
nah.
I mean, okay.
Well,
No,
Well, you're forgetting the fact that you couldn't play. Period. Like you're not capable to go out. No, I'm not trying to like shit on Woody. I'm just saying. None of us has that.
None of us play pro ball. He's right.
No, none of us has that skill set to be able to go make $500,000. What we're talking about is a highly specialized, like skill set, dude. That only certain people in the world possess.
So let's say the guy played 2 years. What's after taxes, lawyers, all the fees, whatever. He cleared $500,000 to play football a year, to play for 2 years. All right. He made $1 million in 2 years of playing a game that he enjoys, right? A game that he enjoys.
Yeah.
Where else is he going to make $1 million in 2 years coming straight out of college, or even leaving college early?
I don't see your point, man, because other positions get paid more money. I don't understand it. They go through the same thing. They all should go to camp together. They all run and do the same work. Why can't the guy get paid equal money?
Hey, Ken.
Base salaries just need to be higher. That's all. First contracts need to be way higher.
I'm answering your question. Ken's going to answer your question. Hey, Ken, how much does a 5th round offensive tackle get paid compared to a 5th round running back get paid under the rookie pay scale?
And Joe, I know I just met you. I do have skills, but I just didn't get drafted.
While Ken looks up the number, I can tell you what that number is. It's the exact same amount of money. It's not by position in the draft. It's by your player position. It's by where you get drafted in the draft. Whether you're the first, if you're the number one pick, it's X dollars. Whether you're a quarterback, a wide receiver, a tight end, a running back, a field goal kicker, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter.
It massively depends on your position and when you were picked in the round is by what you get paid. Because of them changing everything when they redid the rookie pay scale after Sam Bradford's nonsense, they made it to where it just goes straight down the line. It don't matter position, nothing. Just you're the first pick in the first round, you get in between this amount. You're the second pick, you get in between this amount, and it's
pretty much the only room you have to negotiate with the team that drafts you is how much of that is going to be guaranteed. That is it. So, Rob, let me ask you this question. An offensive tackle that lasts 2 years in the league just made the same amount of money as the running back that lasted 2 years in the league if they got drafted the same position. What's unfair about that?
I think their contracts are too low for what they do. I'm sorry, man. I mean, look, you see how much money the NFL makes a year? Are you fucking kidding me? They can't make these contracts better for these guys? I'm sorry, man. This is going to water down this. This is going to water shit down. I watch. You'll see. When the running back market gets like that, it's gonna. They'll have to flip it back at some point.
So yet this year, the salary cap went up a historic amount of money, $30 million a year.
It goes up every year, bro. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's my point. If that goes up every year, then all the contracts need to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Well. Not necessarily, because now we value.
Why not? Why should the NFL be the only one profiting off of players?
No, I'm going to tell you, they're not. You know who's profiting on the salary cap going up more than anyone right now?
Quarterbacks.
But I say the NFL controls that too.
Your problem, Rob, isn't that the owners are being big, mean owners making too much money. Is that they're putting the money in other positions. So go yell at the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and the defensive edge guys who are sucking down the money that the running backs are no longer making. Same with the cornerbacks, the safeties, and all the other positions that are now making more money because running backs are making less.
But if you're going to choose to police and put a salary cap in, it needs to be fair across the board for all positions. You're making a salary cap. Otherwise, teams would just go out and just get by whoever they could.
Oh, wait, Rob.
I mean, come on, man.
It should
be fair. It should be fair.
All right, Rob. Let's go down this rabbit hole on Rob's thing here. Woody, do you think the NFL should cap the amount of money a team can spend on a quarterback? Because that's what he's asking for.
Oh man, put me on the fucking spot.
Come on, Woody, fuck that. If it was that easy, you would have answered it. It's not that simple. It should be capped.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. They just make too much more money.
Fucking
Yeah.
A, man. It fucks up your whole team because you want to because everybody bullshit. It's a whole team sport. It's not I'm a quarterback sport. Throw the ball and go catch it yourself then, motherfucker. Run it yourself. Block it yourself.
Rob's point, to go off
Isaac,
Rob's
what do you
point,
think? Do we put a salary cap by position?
That's tough to do because the owners have to all come in agreement. See, the thing is,
But it can be done.
the owners have all the power in this. Like, even like, the players union, they're fighting the owners every day for every dollar they can get.
Jake, shut your
And then
fucking
owners
eye hole.
can just come up. Owners just come up out of nowhere and be like, overrule this shit because Roger Goodell has already proven that he will abide by the owners over the players on a lot of things. That's why Goodell is booed every year, every time they show him on TV because they know he's owner prone. So that's the thing. And then, to answer your question a little bit earlier that you asked, Ken, where can you make $1 million in 2 years? OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I started.
Isaac knows all
Hey, Isaac,
Fucking
you
Isaac.
I just started one.
Speaking of
Isaac, you gotta have a nice set
LeBron.
of bolt-ons for that, though.
No, I have one.
Hey,
that was
imagine
my
being
feet.
Fabio.
So if you guys want to subscribe to look at my feet, please go ahead.
Hey, but
Speaking
Ken,
of
I just wanted to
OnlyFans,
point
hey,
out.
Nasty thing on a person fucking feet.
I just wanted to point out so that the
Hold on,
argument.
Joe. Hold on, Joe. Let me go to Dominic because we haven't heard from Dominic, who by the way has a new OnlyFans account. It's called what, Dirty Bird News or something like that. But, I mean,
Dirty
what
Bird
do you think
News.
about
This is dirty.
Yeah. What do you
Dirty
think? What do you
press.
think about this concept? If we're running out of time, what do you think about this concept of putting a salary cap by position versus an overall team one, or maybe you have an overall team one and you cap positions like you can't pay a quarterback more than $35 million a year? What do you think?
I think players get pissed, especially the quarterbacks.
There you go.
Well, you see what they're making right now. Quarterbacks ain't gonna be like, oh wait, only 35 million. Man, oh dag, like
Hey,
come on,
yeah,
like, these
but
people.
That's
wanna
only
get
one
paid.
position. There's like 7 other positions, man. The other guys that fucking
I
play.
understand,
but
but
to go to Ken's,
quarterbacks are greedy. You could say, like,
to go
as
to
I said,
Ken's
look at all
point
these
earlier,
moves they
though,
make for them, and they're still
remember-
getting paid all this money.
remember earlier, Ken was like, "Oh, poor running backs, they're only making $2 million." Well, you can flip that argument around on quarterbacks, like, "Oh, poor baby, you're only making $35 million a year."
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a
Thank you,
difference.
Joe.
Here's a difference.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. You ready? Who puts more money in the team's bank accounts?
Is it going to change though? If they
Quarterback
only,
or running
is it
back?
going to change? Is it going to change anything if they cap it though? Be honest. You think it's going to change anything? You think people are going to stop watching? You think they're going to go?
You know why? You know why they're paying quarterbacks more money than they're paying running backs? Because quarterbacks are worth more to the team than running backs are right now.
I get that, but
Who's
that
the face
doesn't
of
mean
the
you can't.
franchise? Who's
That
the
doesn't
face
mean-
of the franchise?
Yeah,
It depends on where you're at.
Should a quarterback
Some people
make
got
50
crappy
million a
quarterbacks.
year? Should a quarterback make $50 million a year while a running back makes $4 million? When a running back touches the ball 30 times a game and a quarterback
Yeah.
touches the ball 30 times a game?
Well, the
It's
quarterback
not fair, bro.
touches the
It's
ball more
not
than the
fair.
running back
It's
does.
not fucking fair though. It's not because
So-
look, man. We rely on our running game. If without our running game, that's like a third of our offense, bro. I mean, this whole argument is paying Aaron Jones his fucking money is. I can't believe we're even talking about it.
Dying up there.
See, I'm
Hey,
not
hold on,
against
hey,
quarterbacks
Woody,
making more money.
Woody,
I'm not
We
against that.
need
I'm
to
just
trade.
saying that.
We need to draft new running backs. That's the reason Chicago hasn't been a Super Bowl winning team, because our running backs are not delivering the ball where it needs to go. They're
No.
failing.
No. Our running backs are, it's not our running backs' fault. I'll tell you that.
Hello, straw man.
That's good. Exactly though, Joe. That's the reason I just made that stupid argument, and I put Woody because I knew Woody would play along. It's because look,
Thanks, Ken. Put me on the
It's-
fucking spot.
I mean, look, it's not because we don't blame running backs when teams don't do well. We blame the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks have the most pressure of any player on the team. They generate the most revenue. They do a lot of things for these teams. That's why they make the most money. Now look at the running backs. I agree, they should get paid more. But you know what the problem is? There's so many of them in the marketplace right now. The owners don't have to pay as much money. They can draft the guy in the 5th round, keep him for 4 years, let him make us $4 million, and then get a new kid. They're expendable right now because there's so many of them that are good.
Mhm.
That's the problem.
That's
And I
going to
hate to
screw
do
things
this
up
because this
down
is
the
a
line.
great. I hate to do this because this is a great discussion, but on my disappointing last comment, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. Be safe. And we'll see you tomorrow morning on Ken and Ken.
He has time. He's Off
got
the
him.
left side. Touch is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.